Good, what is it, Tuesday? Yes, that's right. Good Tuesday morning. Throughout the night, you had the two sides talking for all the hardcore baseball fans out there that say, just let me know when it's over. Well, it's not quite over yet between the two sides, but it is close as they talked all the way into the early hours of the morning. They're scheduled to meet again at 11 a.m., and according to all the baseball insiders, your Bob Nightingales, your John Heymans, your Jeff Passons, your whoever the hell else you follow on Twitter, this thing is almost over. And let's hope that today, with the new deadline at 5 p.m., and the deadline, you say the deadline for what? For missing baseball games and regular season games, that hopefully by then they have a deal, because a lot of work went into this thing, damn it, and there's a lot of fans out there that want to see some baseball start on time. We've got that. We've got some Derek Jeter. We got a jam-packed show for you. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, G. Great to have you back, man. And, yeah, maybe a little glimmer or sliver of hope here.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And I'm thinking that the players are starting to feel the pressure. You know, they don't want to miss any paychecks. This is what this is all about. I think the owners probably stood in there and said, look, man, you know, we'll wipe out April. You know, that's a lot of money for a lot of guys, including Max Scherzer, who's sitting in on those meetings. So hopefully the pressure has been exerted, and now the players and everybody are starting to come back a little bit to reality and getting a little bit closer. So, man, fingers crossed that, you know, by 5 o'clock today, they'll come up with some sort of framework, and by the end of the week, they'll have a deal, and then maybe they start spring training next week at some point. I'm not really sure about the timing of all of this. I don't know if they'll miss a week of, you know, the regular season. I'm not sure about any of that, neither are you. But it's good to hear that they went deep into the morning and that they're going to continue today until 5 o'clock, so maybe they are close.
Yeah, and if the regular season starts on time, if opening day happens when it's supposed to happen, yeah, of course, spring training has been truncated already, and people had trips down there, might be upset that they got canceled, whatever it is. But I think the majority of baseball fans are going to be thrilled. They're not going to care. It's going to be over. I mean, you know, if you miss regular season games, you miss a chunk of the season, you start the season on Memorial Day weekend, or you start the season on May 1st, and there's a whole month of games where you say, oh, I should have been at this game, I should have been at that game, I should have been watching the Mets or Yankees today on an April night, and you're not, that's when you really get the fan base riled up and people are pissed and people might not come back. But if you start it on opening day when it was supposed to start, and most of the people that have been complaining about this all of a sudden do a 180 and think about how great the season is going to be. And, oh, by the way, let's not forget about the excitement that gets ramped up because there's still an offseason to have. So once this thing ends, maybe the Yankees do something right away. Maybe the Mets add to their team. So then you've got a full month of that buildup and then more adding and more offseason before you go into opening day. So as frustrating as it's been, baseball has an opportunity by 5 p.m. today to rectify a lot of this.
You know, the weird thing is we could have football and baseball free agency all at the same time.
That's right, yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think
remember,
we will.
We are still in the tag period for the NFL. And we haven't seen any franchise tags yet.
Yep.
Placed. You know, we're waiting to see whether or not Devontae Adams is able to extend his contract with Green Bay. He would be the number one guy on that list. Maybe Jesse Bates for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're very talented safety. He could end up getting tagged as well. The question is, you know, whether or not, you know, these things are all going to happen like parallel to each other and coincide with one another, which is going to be like our heads are going to have to be on a swivel.
That's right. Well, we are out of February now. We are into March. March 14th at noon is the beginning of the negotiating period, or whatever the hell that is that they call the illegal tampering period.
I don't know,
we're a couple of weeks away from that.
I mean, why do they even do that? I mean, like, they allow illegal tampering. So if you allow something, how is it illegal?
Well, I have no idea. Doesn't make any sense to me. They should just call that free agency as opposed to the legal tampering period.
Yeah.
But there we are. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to be a lot of off-season news happening at the same time, and then, of course, the tournament and everything else. So you get through this little part of sports, and then on the back end of it, especially if this baseball lockout ends like it's supposed to, then all of a sudden you got some good stuff happening.
Yeah, I would hope that, man, cooler heads prevail today, and hopefully there's not some, you know, whether or not Devontae Adams is able to extend his contract with Green Bay. He would be the number one guy on that list. Maybe Jesse Bates for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're very talented safety. He could end up getting tagged as well. The question is, you know, whether or not, you know, monkey wrench in the middle of this.
You've been a part of some negotiations in the past, have you not?
God, yeah, it's excruciating.
Yeah,
it's
all
just
right.
painful.
So if you look at and I know that you won't be, but this is not too much minutia that I'm going to give you, I promise.
Okay.
But if you look at some of these things that John Heyman has tweeted, it does not seem like they are that far apart. For example, they have not settled on the minimum salary yet, but MLB is at $675. The union is at $700. That's not that far apart, is it? Really?
No.
Okay, so there you go. The CBT, the luxury tax threshold, $220 million from the owners. The players are seeking $230 million. That's not that far apart. We could work something out there, meet in the middle, and let's go, right? So I think some of these things that we see that they're still working on, they're very, very close. So that's why we are optimistic.
Yeah, you know what it's really going to come down to? I kind of believe the owners are going to be the ones that are ultimately going to say, okay, we can handle this. And I do believe that there is a faction of ownership that is ready to go right now, that is happy with where the negotiations are right now, and could probably say, you know what, if we need an extra $25,000 for a minimum, and we need an extra $5 million for the CBT, whatever. Let's go. Let's just go. There are other things, though, the minutia, the details, and all that other stuff about minor league system, minor league players, and all that other stuff. That's an important part of all of this. And I don't know. I'm assuming that most of that stuff is already agreed to, but I'm not sure. I do believe that the universal DH is agreed to. I do believe that the 7 teams in each league and the playoff format is agreed to.
No. It's now 6 teams.
Now it's down back to 6 teams.
It's down to 6 teams now. Yes, which what I don't understand. So the players apparently want fewer playoff teams.
Yeah, because they want to incentivize owners to spend money to try to get one of those playoff spots.
But all right, so here's my counter to that. If there's 7 playoff teams in each league and there's 14 total, that's more teams that have a shot at making the playoffs, or more teams that are maybe willing to spend money,
or not having to spend money and just
they're going to say that
trying to get to 8. What is it?
Like 81 wins to
get
get in?
You get the 81 wins to get in. You don't have to spend extra money and just to get in. I don't know. There's an argument to be made on both sides. I would like to see 7 in each league, which would make it a little bit more interesting. And then if you do have the best record in your league, then you do have that bye, which is really, really important for your pitching staff and everything else to line up. And that's the advantage that you have if you do have the best record in your league. So there are a lot of people that don't want to see any expansion of the playoffs. I think that's where the money lies. I think the players
that's where baseball grows too. I mean, everybody says, how does baseball grow? How does it grow? I'll tell you, the only way that it grows is if you have more good teams to root for in Major League Baseball in these markets, because it's such a regional sport that the only way that you're going to grow new fans and get people into teams that have not had fans into their teams is having them go to the playoffs.
There's nothing worse than having a team on August 1st out of it.
Yeah.
And we've been here. We've been there.
Many times.
We know that.
Many times.
And having a team out of it on August 1st is just miserable. And that's why I always think that if you add an extra playoff team, a guy like Steve Cohen would make a trade to try to, get the thing right before the season was, 3/4 of the way over. He would do it.
Yeah.
And I also think that teams that are hit hard by injuries, would actually bring guys back later in the season if they felt like they had a chance to make the playoffs, as opposed to shelving them for the rest of the year.
Sure, yeah.
That's another aspect of trying to make it to the playoffs. So I didn't realize that. I didn't see that part of it. But I hope that they somehow reinstate the 7 teams, because that, to me, that's where they make a lot of their money too, which also would raise, I would think, the salaries for some players along the line, somewhere down the line. But all I know is that the fact that they're talking again and going to talk until 5 o'clock today, we keep our fingers crossed and we hope that they get this done. And then, man, get ready. I mean, there is going to be just a frenzy of action.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure not only in the offseason with the players that are getting traded and free agency and all that, but I'm sure if you're a baseball player that is under contract, I mean, you go from doing nothing, well, not doing nothing, but doing nothing with your team, to getting that phone call, all right, you got to be on a plane tomorrow, first thing in the morning, let's get this thing going.
I would think that a lot of players are already in Florida and Arizona. That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I would think most guys are working out. Guys are doing things.
I guess why wouldn't you be?
Well, I mean,
if you were a
Aaron Judge was
baseball
talking
player?
about he's. I think they're at some high school or minor league field or something, and
Yeah.
they're working out with other players from other teams and stuff, doing what they would normally do: get some hitting in, get some fielding in, get some running and lifting in, and all that kind of stuff that you would normally do. And I think players do. I remember as much as I hated. For us, it was summer training, summer camp. That's how much I loved it too. Like I hated it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Because when you got there, it was like, all right, it's a whole new year, it's a whole new team, it's a whole new way of doing things. But then it's going to be 100 degrees outside. You're going to be in 2-a-day, and you're going to be in pads.
Yep.
And you're going to be going 100 miles an hour for about 3.5 to 4 weeks. And there's something that's great about that. But there's also something that, at least for football players back in my day, was like miserable.
Yeah, I mean, you know what we're going to hear over and over again? If these guys, baseball players, start pulling hamstrings and quads and all that stuff again, it's like, it's because spring training was shortened.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I'm going to say, right.
Guys are working out right now. And Wade Boggs told me when I interviewed him last week, I asked him about the lockout because he had went through one of these. Mm-hmm. And he said that, look, we only needed 2 weeks for spring training. We didn't need a month. The owners, for some reason, want a month. I don't know if that has to do with, selling of preseason tickets and
I'm sure. I mean, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, spring training is a huge deal for a lot of people, especially those of us who are up in the Northeast. I mean, there's many years I would go down there and plan a trip around seeing the Mets in Port St. Lucie and stopping by. And when the Dodgers were in Dodger Town there at Vero Beach, that was always a place to stop and see because it was an old-timey type of feel. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of money to be had there at those games. I mean, they'd be packed, for meaningless spring training games with a bunch of players wearing 80s numbers on their backs. People love it.
So anyway, you're back from Nashville.
I am, yes.
And you took 4 days.
Not 4 days. No,
3 days.
No. I was down there 3 nights.
Oh, 3 nights.
And I took 1 day off.
I don't care about that. I'm just saying. I mean, you had a good time.
Yes, I did. I had a tremendous time. I tell you, man, there's a genuine niceness down there that does not exist up here. That made me want to be nicer.
Right. I see a picture being shown right now by CBS Sports Network.
Yep.
And there you are.
That's right. I'm there with Jordan Davis and my buddy Andrew Filipponi, and that is in the box at the Stadium Series game.
So Jordan was in his element, right? In the middle of everything.
He was totally in the middle of everything. Yep. Yeah. He was so much in the middle of everything that he slipped down these steps of the box and ended up falling down when he goes, "We're going to turn this thing up to a 10 tonight." And whoop! And then he fell down the steps of the box. It was
How was
an
the
embarrassing
atmosphere?
moment for him. It was great. I mean, the place was packed. A lot of Tampa Bay Lightning fans, a ton of them all around the city. But no, the place was packed. You had Miranda Lambert and Dierks Bentley playing in between periods.
Yep.
Which was a big deal. You had music in every single commercial break. So how about this? So Jordan Davis, who played at our boat party, who we all got to know pretty well, and we hung out in the city back in December. So he goes to me. He's like, "Did I tell you they asked me to play this thing?" And I said, "To play like in between periods like Dierks Bentley?" He goes, no, in the commercial breaks. And he agreed to it initially. And then he asked, he goes, "Wait a second, am I getting paid for this?" And they go, no, you just have 70,000 people watching you, so that's your payment. And he was like, hell no, I'm not doing it. He goes, "I'd rather hang out with my friends and get drunk." He goes, "I knew you were coming, there's some other people coming." I was like, that's
the
great.
thing about it is 10 years ago, he probably would have done it.
Yeah, but now he's got a #1 song.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Isn't he up for Song of the Year for
he's
Country
up for
Music
Song
Awards?
of the Year, yes.
Look at that, man.
You know what?
Look what we've cultivated here.
I'm telling you right now. So we
didn't pay him for the boat party, by the way.
No, we did not. I guess.
No,
I guess not. I don't think so.
No, I didn't. Nobody said to me that was on a line item.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Or maybe we did. Maybe that was behind the scenes. I'm not sure. But where was I on this whole thing now? Now I lost my train of thought.
Country Music Awards.
The Country Music Awards. So you know what song I'm worried he's going to lose to was the one that you got your ears blown out at the AFC Championship game.
Oh, yeah, the Applebee's game.
And you know what? That
Walker
song
Hayes.
to me too cheesy.
It's too cheesy. Definitely too cheesy.
Way too cheesy. way too poppy. You know, that Buy Dirt's about, buying some land and settling down with your family and all that stuff.
It's a real song.
It's a
man.
real
got some
song.
substance to it.
And I was trying to squeeze it out of all the country music guys I was around this week. And I said, that song, super cheesy, right? And they wouldn't.
Yes. Boo! Oh, my God. Boo!
Boo! And George's record label, by the way, dropped that guy.
They did.
Yeah, they dropped him before he had
Wow,
this.
man, you got scuttlebutt from
I got all sorts
country
of
music
scuttlebutt.
now and everything.
I got
Holy
country music
mackerel.
scuttlebutt.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but
you are just like a magnet for scuttlebutt.
But I'm telling you, this is a big deal. He's got to win Song of the Year.
So when it is a Monday night?
It's Monday night, yeah. Yep, Monday night.
Next Monday night, man, you going to have a watch party?
I don't think so, no. I probably
Up
won't
at the
even
Portly
be able
Villager?
to. I probably won't be able to make it up. I'm going to have to DVR it and watch it back.
Go to the Portly Villager and have them
Put it
on
on
the big
there.
screen. Yeah.
The ACMs, I don't know, man. I don't think that's going to fly. I don't know if that's going to fly, but he's
Well, there's
performing.
nothing else going on.
He's performing with Luke Bryan. He's performing Buy Dirt, so that'll be pretty cool for anybody who's interested in that whole deal.